There is one sentence you've never truly said to yourself. Not once, not ever. You've said, "I'm sorry" to others 1,000 times. You've said, "I love you" to partners, parents, children. You've said thank you to strangers who held the door. But this one sentence, the most healing sentence in human language, you've withheld it from the one person who needs it most, you. And that withholding is why you're exhausted, why you're in pain, why nothing you try seems to work for very long. The reason isn't mysterious. It isn't karmic punishment. It's simpler and more devastating than that. You've been starving yourself of the only nutrient your soul truly needs. I'm going to give you that sentence today, and it will change everything. You're here because something inside you knows you've been living in betrayal of yourself, not dramatically, not violently, but quietly, consistently. Every time you say, "I'm so stupid," every time you mutter, "I hate my body," every time you whisper, "I'll never get better," every time you think, "I always mess things up," your body hears you. And I need you to understand this. Your cells respond. They literally reshape themselves around the words you speak and the beliefs you hold. Here's the misunderstanding that's been costing you your health, your peace, your very life force. You think your thoughts are private, harmless, just commentary running in the background of your mind. But your thoughts are not commentary. They are instructions. They are the language your biology obeys. Every single moment of every single day, your cells are listening to what you believe about yourself, about your body, about your worthiness, about your future, and they are responding with absolute loyalty. The pain you're carrying right now, that chronic tension in your shoulders that never quite goes away, that mysterious illness the doctors can't quite explain or diagnose, that emotional numbness that makes you feel like you're watching your life from behind glass instead of living it, that exhaustion that sleep doesn't fix no matter how many hours you get, that sense that your body is working against you instead of with you. These aren't punishments. They're not bad luck. They're not genetic destiny that you can't escape. They're the echo of years, sometimes decades, of self-rejection, self-criticism, and self-abandonment. Your body is speaking to you in the only language it knows: sensation, symptom, pain, discomfort. What I'm going to give you in this video is a complete reframe of what healing actually is. I'm not going to tell you to fight your body. I'm not going to teach you to force positivity or pretend everything's fine when it isn't. I'm not going to give you toxic cheerfulness or spiritual bypassing where you just slap a smile on top of real pain. What I'm going to show you is something much more powerful and much more true. I'm going to teach you to speak to yourself the way you would speak to someone you deeply, unconditionally love. Someone you would protect, someone you would never harm, someone whose well-being matters more to you than anything else. I will show you the exact words, the exact practices, and the exact shift in consciousness that allowed me to heal terminal cancer when the doctors had given me months to live and told me to get my affairs in order. The same understanding that has allowed millions of people around the world to reclaim their health, their peace, and their lives. This isn't theory. This isn't borrowed wisdom from books. This isn't something I read in a journal. This is what I lived through, what I discovered in the darkest moment of my life, and what I've spent decades teaching because I absolutely know it works. What makes this different from everything else you've tried? I'm not going to tell you to think positive as if that's some magic wand you wave and everything gets better. I'm not going to tell you to manifest abundance through visualization alone, as if you can just imagine your way to health. What I'm going to show you is how self-love is a biological event, how forgiveness is a nervous system reset, how affirmations are not just nice words, but actual medicine that changes your biochemistry, how the body you've been judging, criticizing, and betraying is actually the most loyal friend you've ever had, and it's been waiting so patiently for you to come home to it. This video will teach you the one sentence your cells have been waiting your entire life to hear. And when you finally say it, when you finally mean it, everything changes. Not someday, not eventually, but immediately. Because your cells don't hold grudges. They don't need you to earn their forgiveness. They just need to hear the truth spoken with love. They're ready right now. The question is, are you? So let me tell you a story. I want to tell you about a woman who stood in front of her mirror every single morning and criticized every part of her body, her weight, her skin, her aging face, the lines around her eyes that she thought made her look tired and old, the softness of her stomach that she couldn't seem to get rid of no matter what she tried, the thickness of her thighs that she hated in every pair of pants, the way her arms looked when she waved, the gray in her hair, the spots on her hands. She would look at herself with such contempt, such disgust, and she believed she was just being realistic. She thought she was motivating herself to do better, to be better, to finally become acceptable in her own eyes and in the eyes of others. She would tell herself, if I don't criticize myself, I'll just let myself go. If I don't stay on top of myself, I'll never improve. She thought the harsh voice in her head was her ally, keeping her in line, keeping her from becoming lazy or complacent. But here's what was really happening. Her body heard every word, every harsh judgment, every moment of rejection, every time she looked at herself with disgust. Her body felt it, and it responded. Her digestion began to shut down. Food she used to be able to eat suddenly made her sick. She couldn't process meals properly. She felt bloated, uncomfortable, heavy all the time. Her skin broke out in rashes that wouldn't heal no matter what cream she tried, no matter what doctor she went to. Strange red patches appeared on her arms and chest. They itched, they burned, nothing helped. Her energy drained away until getting out of bed felt like climbing a mountain. She would wake up already exhausted, already dreading the day ahead. Simple tasks felt overwhelming. She couldn't understand why everything was so hard. She came to me exhausted, depleted, confused, convinced that her body had betrayed her. She felt like she was doing everything right, eating well, or at least trying to, exercising when she had the energy, taking vitamins, drinking water, following all the rules she'd been taught, and yet her body kept breaking down. She said to me with tears in her eyes, "Louise, I don't understand. I'm trying so hard. Why won't my body cooperate? Why is it fighting me? What am I doing wrong?" I listened to her story. I heard the pain in her voice. I felt the exhaustion radiating from her body. And then I asked her one question: what would happen if you spoke to your reflection the way you'd speak to a beloved child? What would happen if you looked at yourself with the same tenderness you'd show a small, vulnerable child who needed your love and protection? She stared at me, her eyes widened, and then she started crying. Deep, heaving sobs that came from somewhere she'd locked away for years. She said, "I don't know how. I wouldn't even know where to start. I've hated myself for so long, I don't remember what kindness feels like. I don't even know if I'm capable of it anymore. It feels like I've forgotten the language." So I taught her. I had her stand in front of that same mirror where she'd spent years waging war on herself, and I asked her to say these words: "I approve of you. I love you exactly as you are. You are enough. You are doing your best. You are worthy of love and kindness." Just those simple words, that's all. No grand declarations, no complex affirmations that took 5 minutes to say. Just the truth, spoken gently, just words of basic human kindness that every person deserves to hear. For the first few weeks, she told me she felt ridiculous. She felt like she was lying to herself, trying to convince herself of something that couldn't possibly be true. Every time she looked in the mirror and said, "I love you," a voice in her head screamed, "No, you don't. Look at you. You're disgusting. How can you love this?" The criticism was so loud, so automatic, so deeply ingrained that the loving words felt like a foreign language she was trying to speak for the first time. She wanted to quit. She called me after a week and said, "Louise, this isn't working. I feel stupid. I feel like I'm lying. I can't do this." And I told her what I'm telling you now. Keep going. Even if you don't believe it yet, even if it feels fake, even if every cell in your body wants to reject it. Keep speaking the truth, because somewhere deep inside, beneath all that conditioning, beneath all that learned self-hatred, your cells remember what love feels like. They're starving for it. They're desperate for it. They've been waiting their whole existence to hear it. And then one morning, about 6 weeks into this practice, something shifted. She stood in front of the mirror and said, "I love you." And for the first time, she didn't hear the cruel voice arguing back. There was just silence, a quiet, gentle silence. And then, so quietly, she almost didn't notice it. Her body softened. The tightness in her chest that had been there for so long, she'd forgotten what it felt like to breathe freely, it released. The knot in her stomach that had become so familiar, she thought it was just part of who she was. It loosened. Her shoulders, which she'd been holding up near her ears in constant tension, dropped an inch, maybe 2 inches. She felt it. This wave of relief moving through her body like water finding its way to the sea. And she cried again, but this time they were different tears. Not tears of pain or frustration, tears of release. Tears of coming home to herself after being away for so long. Within 3 months, her rash had completely cleared. Her skin glowed. Her digestion normalized. She could eat without pain, without fear, without the constant discomfort that had been ruling her life. Her energy returned, flooding back into her body like the tide coming in. She came to see me glowing, radiant, looking 10 years younger. And she said, "Louise, I feel like I'm living in a different body. I feel like I'm a different person." And I told her the truth. You are, because you're finally treating yourself with love. And love changes everything at the cellular level. This wasn't magic. This wasn't a miracle in the supernatural sense. This was biology responding to a change in belief. Her cells had spent years receiving messages of rejection and hatred. They responded by creating inflammation, by shutting down systems, by essentially going into survival mode because they thought they were under attack. But the moment she started sending messages of love and approval, everything changed. Her cells finally felt safe. They could finally relax. They could finally do what they were designed to do, heal. Now let me tell you about another person. A man who came to me with chronic back pain that had ruled his life for 30 years. 30 years, 3 decades of constant grinding ache in his lower back that made every movement painful. Standing hurt, sitting hurt, lying down hurt. There was no position, no activity, no time of day when he was free from it. No injury, no accident, no medical explanation that made sense. Just this persistent, unrelenting pain that colored every moment of his existence. He'd been to every kind of doctor, orthopedist, neurologist, pain specialist, chiropractors, acupuncturists, physical therapists, massage therapists. He'd tried medications, injections, surgeries, alternative treatments. Nothing worked. The pain just persisted, this unwelcome companion that never left him, that woke up with him every morning and went to bed with him every night. He'd begun to accept it as his fate, as something he would carry until he died. As we talked, I learned about his childhood. His father had been a rage-filled man, violent, unpredictable, explosive. You never knew what would set him off. A spilled glass, a low grade, a toy left on the floor. Anything could trigger an eruption. And this man, as a little boy, had learned to hold himself rigid. He would brace his entire body, especially his back, waiting for the next blow, waiting for the next storm, waiting for the next explosion that would shake his world. Even decades after his father's death, even though he was now safe in his own home with his own family, even though the danger had long passed, his body had never received that message. It was still bracing, still armored, still holding itself tight against a threat that would never come again. His body was still living in that house, still that little boy, still waiting for his father to come through the door with rage in his eyes. His back wasn't broken, his back was protecting him. It was doing exactly what he'd taught it to do all those years ago. Stay tight, stay vigilant, never let your guard down, never relax, because relaxing means you won't see the danger coming. But that protection, which had served him as a child, had become a prison as an adult. I asked him, what would your body feel like if it knew the danger was over? What would happen if your back understood that you're safe now? He looked at me like I'd spoken another language. The concept was so foreign to him, so outside his experience, that he couldn't even imagine it. His body had been in fight or flight mode for so long, he didn't even know what safety felt like anymore. He'd forgotten, or maybe he'd never known. So I taught him something simple. I asked him to place his hand on his lower back, right where the pain lived deepest, where it had made its home for 3 decades. I asked him to feel the warmth of his palm against his body, to connect with that part of himself that had been carrying so much for so long. And then I asked him to speak directly to that part of his body, to say these words: "You're safe now. I forgive my father for what he did. I understand why you've been holding on. I'm grateful you protected me, but the danger is over. I release this pain. It is safe for me to relax now. It is safe for me to let go." The first time he said it, he sobbed. Deep, wrenching sobs that came from a place he'd locked away for decades, sobs that shook his whole body. He cried for the little boy who had to live in fear every single day. He cried for all the years he'd carried his father's violence in his body, stored in his muscles and bone. He cried for the exhaustion of never feeling safe, of always being ready for attack, of living his entire life in a state of constant vigilance. He cried for the childhood he never got to have, the innocence that was stolen from him. But he kept going. Every single day, he would place his hand on his back and speak those words. Sometimes he believed them. Sometimes they felt true. Sometimes he could feel his body responding, softening just a little. But sometimes they felt empty, like lies he was telling himself. Sometimes the pain was just as bad, just as intense, and he wanted to give up. He wanted to decide this was all nonsense, that pain is just pain and there's nothing to be done about it. But he didn't give up. He trusted the process even when he couldn't feel it working. And slowly, gradually, over the course of several months, something miraculous happened. The pain that had been his constant companion for 30 years, the pain he thought he would die with, began to dissolve. Not all at once, not overnight, but bit by bit, day by day, it loosened its grip. First, he'd have an hour without pain, then a morning, then a whole day, and then days started turning into weeks. He called me one afternoon, his voice shaking with emotion, and said, "Louise, I just realized I haven't thought about my back in 3 days. 3 whole days. I can't remember the last time that happened. I don't think it's ever happened in my adult life." The pain didn't disappear because he forced it away. It didn't leave because he fought it or medicated it or tried to think it away through sheer willpower. It left because he finally gave his body permission to let go. He gave his body permission to stop protecting him from a danger that no longer existed. He told his cells, "We're safe now. You can rest. You don't have to hold on anymore." And his body, loyal and obedient as always, listened. These stories aren't extraordinary. That's what I need you to understand. These aren't special cases or rare miracles reserved for the lucky few. This is how the body works. This is how your body works right now, in this very moment. Your cells don't analyze or philosophize. They don't debate or question or second guess. They respond to what you believe about yourself. They respond to the emotional environment you create with your thoughts, with your words, with the story you tell yourself about who you are and what you deserve. So let's talk about what you've been teaching your body. Let's talk about the thoughts that run through your mind so automatically you barely notice them anymore. They're like background music you've stopped hearing, but they're still playing, still influencing everything, still shaping your reality at the most fundamental level. Let's bring them into the light and look at them honestly, without judgment, but with clear eyes. Every thought you think sends a chemical signal through your body. This is not metaphor. This is not spiritual poetry or New Age philosophy. This is neuroscience. This is biochemistry. This is documented, measurable, observable fact. When you think a loving, approving thought like "I'm doing my best," or "I appreciate my body," or "I'm worthy of kindness," your brain releases endorphins, serotonin, oxytocin chemicals that relax your muscles, strengthen your immune system, improve your digestion, reduce inflammation, and promote healing at the cellular level. These chemicals are literal medicine produced by your own body, more powerful than most drugs, more targeted than any treatment. Your body knows exactly what it needs and exactly how much to produce. But it needs the right signal. It needs the thought that triggers the cascade. But when you think a critical, harsh thought like "I'm not good enough," or "I hate how I look," or "I'm such a failure," or "I'm so stupid," or "nothing ever works out for me," your body releases cortisol and adrenaline, stress hormones, the exact same chemicals that flood your system when you're in physical danger, when you're being chased by a predator, when your life is being threatened. Your muscles tighten, your blood pressure rises, your heart rate increases, your digestion slows or stops completely because your body thinks it needs to conserve energy for running or fighting. Your immune system weakens because your body thinks there are more urgent priorities. Your body goes into survival mode. Now, if this happened occasionally, if you had these thoughts once in a while during genuinely stressful situations, your body could handle it. Your body is designed to deal with short-term stress. It's designed to respond to acute danger and then return to baseline. But when these thoughts run through your mind dozens, hundreds of times a day, when you wake up in the morning and the first thought you have is criticism, when you spend the day judging yourself constantly, when you go to sleep at night regretting everything you did or didn't do, your body never gets a break. It's in constant stress response. It's constantly flooded with stress hormones. And that's when disease begins to take root. That's when your back starts hurting for no apparent reason. That's when your stomach stops working properly and you develop digestive issues that baffle your doctors. That's when your skin breaks out or your head pounds or your energy vanishes. That's when you start getting sick more often, taking longer to recover, feeling older than your years. That's when mysterious symptoms appear that doctors can't quite explain, that tests can't quite find, that treatments can't quite fix, because the root cause isn't physical, it's mental, it's emotional. It's the war you've been waging inside your own mind, and your body is the battlefield where that war is being fought. Your body is always listening, always responding. You've been speaking to it your whole life. You've been sending it messages since you were old enough to have conscious thoughts. And the question I need you to ask yourself right now, the question that might change everything, is this: what have you been saying? What story have you been telling your cells? What instructions have you been giving your biology? Let me be very clear about something, because this is crucial and it's where many people resist. Self-criticism is not motivation. It's not realism. It's not holding yourself accountable. It's not the tough love you need to improve. Self-criticism is self-harm. I know that sounds harsh, but I need you to hear this truth without filters. You wouldn't walk up to a stranger on the street and say, "You're disgusting, you're a failure. You're worthless, nobody could ever love you, you're too fat, too old, too damaged, too broken." You would never do that. You would recognize it immediately as cruelty, as violence, as abuse. But you say it to yourself daily, hourly, sometimes minute by minute, in a constant stream of judgment and condemnation. And you justify it, you rationalize it. You tell yourself it's just how you stay motivated, how you keep yourself in line. You tell yourself you're just being honest, just facing reality, just not letting yourself off easy. You tell yourself everyone does it, so it must be normal, it must be necessary, it must be okay. But normal doesn't mean healthy, and common doesn't mean harmless. Just because everyone is doing something doesn't make it right. Just because you've always done it doesn't mean you have to keep doing it. Every critical thought is a micro-betrayal. Every harsh word you speak to yourself is an act of abandonment. Every moment of self-judgment is a moment you're choosing to be your own enemy instead of your own friend. And your body, loyal, loving, miraculous, keeps trying to protect you from the war you're waging inside your own mind. Think about it for a moment. Really think about it. If someone in your life spoke to you the way you speak to yourself, would you keep them around? If a friend constantly criticized your appearance, questioned your intelligence, predicted your failure, reminded you of every mistake you've ever made, pointed out every flaw, focused only on what's wrong with you and never on what's right, would you call that friendship? Or would you recognize it as abuse? Would you stay in that relationship? Or would you leave, knowing that no one deserves to be treated that way? You are in an abusive relationship with yourself, with your own mind. And until you're willing to see that, until you're willing to admit that the way you talk to yourself is harmful, is damaging, is literally making you sick, nothing else I teach you will work. Because you can do all the affirmations in the world, but if underneath them you still believe you're worthless, your cells will hear the belief, not the words. You can say, I love myself 1,000 times, but if you don't mean it, if there's no feeling behind it, if it's just empty repetition, your body will know. Your body always knows. Your body holds every unforgiven moment. I need you to understand this deeply. That tightness in your chest that you've become so accustomed to, you barely notice it anymore. It's not random. It's not just the way you're built. It's grief you never let yourself feel. Sadness you pushed down because you didn't think you had time for it, or didn't think you deserved to feel it, or didn't want to burden anyone with it. It's losses you never mourned, changes you never processed, endings you never acknowledged. That tension in your jaw that makes your teeth ache and gives you headaches. It's not just stress, it's words you never let yourself say. Anger you swallowed, truths you buried, things you needed to express but kept locked behind your teeth because you were afraid of the consequences, afraid of being too much, afraid of not being liked. That pain in your hips, that stiffness that makes it hard to move freely, it's rage you've been carrying for years. Resentment toward people who hurt you, anger at situations that were unfair, fury at yourself for not being stronger or smarter or better. It's all the times you wanted to scream or fight or run, and instead you froze and held it all inside. Your body doesn't forget. It cannot forget. It stores what you refuse to release. Every unexpressed emotion, every unfelt feeling, every unspoken truth gets tucked away somewhere in your physical form, in your tissues, in your muscles, in your organs, in your bones, in your cells, and it will keep storing them, packing them tighter and tighter like a closet you keep shoving things into without ever cleaning out until you're finally willing to open the door and let them out. This is why so many people carry the same pain for decades. It's why you can have chronic neck tension for 20 years with no injury to explain it. It's why you can develop digestive problems that started the exact same year your marriage fell apart. It's why your immune system crashes during periods of intense stress or grief. It's why you get sick when you can't get sick, when you have too much to do, when other people need you. Your body is not broken, your body is burdened. It's carrying the weight of everything you haven't processed, everything you haven't forgiven, everything you haven't released. And it's trying so hard to get your attention, to make you slow down, to force you to finally feel what you've been avoiding. And here's what breaks my heart every single day. You've been taught to see your body as the enemy. When your back hurts, you're angry at your back for being weak. When your stomach acts up, you're frustrated with your stomach for being sensitive. When you get sick, you feel betrayed by your body for letting you down. You think it's failing you. You think it's defective. You think it's working against you, making your life harder, preventing you from doing what you need to do. But your body has never betrayed you. Not once, not ever. Your body is trying to protect you. It's trying to get your attention in the only way it knows how. It's trying to tell you something your mind refuses to hear. Every symptom is a message. Every ache is a language. Every pain is a communication. Your body is saying, please, please listen to me. Please slow down. Please feel this emotion you've been avoiding. Please heal this wound you've been ignoring. Please stop hurting yourself with your thoughts. Please come home to me. And what do? We medicate the message. We suppress the symptom. We push through the pain. We treat our bodies like machines that are malfunctioning instead of organisms that are communicating. We take pills to stop feeling instead of asking why we're feeling what we're feeling. We ignore the signals until they get so loud we can't ignore them anymore. And then we wonder why we never truly heal. We wonder why the same problems keep coming back, why the pain moves from one place to another, why treating the symptom doesn't cure the disease. Healing is not about fixing. Let me say that again, because this is where most people get it fundamentally wrong. Healing is not about fixing. It's not about fighting your body or forcing it into submission or conquering your illness like it's an enemy you need to defeat. It's not about dominating your symptoms or overpowering your pain or winning some kind of battle against yourself. Healing is about loving. It's about listening. It's about creating a relationship with your body based on trust and kindness instead of fear and control. It's about asking instead of demanding. It's about cooperating instead of commanding. It's about partnership instead of dictatorship. You don't heal by going to war with yourself. You heal by coming home to yourself. And home is where you're loved exactly as you are, with all your imperfections and struggles and wounds. Home is where you don't have to earn acceptance or prove your worth. Home is where you belong simply because you exist. I learned this truth when I was dying. I was 51 years old, and the doctors told me I had cancer, vaginal cancer, and it had spread beyond where it started. They gave me a prognosis that was, to put it mildly, not optimistic. They didn't expect me to survive. They suggested I get my affairs in order, make my peace, prepare for the end, and in that moment, facing my own mortality, I had a choice that would determine everything. I could see my body as the thing that was killing me, as the betrayer, as the enemy that had turned against me. Or I could ask myself a much deeper, much harder question. Why is my body creating this disease? What is my body trying to tell me? What have I been refusing to hear? I chose to ask why, and what I discovered in the depths of that inquiry changed everything. Not just for me, but eventually for millions of people around the world. I had spent my entire life hating my body, especially my female body, especially my sexuality, especially the parts of me that made me a woman. I had been sexually abused as a child, violated in ways that no child should ever experience. I had grown up with a mother who didn't want me, who saw me as a burden, who never gave me the love every